Previously on
Listen,
Bold.
it's so great to have him. He's in the studio. Last week we spoke to him while he was still in Chile from his hotel room, sucking up all of the hotel's bandwidth on the Skype line. But he's back here. Brett Cummings. You could follow him, of course, on Rally, and then with the E, then Rider, on Twitter, and he's on Facebook as well. Brett, congratulations. Welcome home.
Thanks a lot. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no. Great to have you here in the studio with us. Let's just, we spoke about so much last time, but there's still so many stories. The great thing is, I like that you came in wearing your shirt with the sponsors, those who did stay with you,
Yeah.
and the ones who pulled out, suck on that now, huh? Because you finished second overall.
Well, not overall. Second,
Second in your class.
28th overall, and yeah, I'm more than happy with the results. And all good.
What do you win for that?
There's a bit of prize money.
So
that
there's
you
a
get.
little
We
bit of
only get
money?
it in March, unfortunately.
Okay,
but,
but in dollars.
euros.
Euro,
It's even better.
That's even better. Let's just hope the rand stays as cuck as it is.
Yeah. Well, that's the only reason why I hope it.
Okay, so there is some kind of prize money involved, and from there, perhaps maybe getting other people, international people, maybe looking to sponsor you for next year.
I don't know. I haven't looked at it too
Okay.
much. I landed yesterday morning, and it's a tough sport to make it in.
Sure.
There's no money to be made in it. You
Of course.
do it for the love of it, and if you can get to Dakar with someone else paying for it, then that's obviously first prize. If you can get paid to do it, then you up there with the top boys.
Yeah, no, that's it. So I mean, well, that's surely got to be the objective. I mean, are you interested in doing another one?
I'm not going to say no, but it's early days to say, and it grows on you. It's something that the organizer said to me. Xavier Gavori, he's one of the head honchos at ASO.
Yeah.
And he said to me, after the first one, Dakar is like a virus. It gets in your blood. So I don't know. We'll see.
Well, listen, you've done one where you had a crew.
Yeah.
Now you've done one self-service. Okay. And as we spoke last week, I mean, that must have been massively challenging, considering that you had geared yourself to go there with a crew.
Absolutely. I didn't. You don't know what to expect when it is that you have to look after yourself and look after your own bike. I managed to prepare myself mentally for it when I made this decision. Listen, I'm going to go Moto, and I said to myself, you got to look after the bike, make sure you don't give yourself too much work, and just try your best and make it happen. I think that was the biggest motivating factor.
I still can't believe. I mean, 28th overall, where you sit and think about it, is over 240 that start something like the Dakar, the whole thing.
Yeah.
Second in the class, which is amazing. But one of the stories we didn't get onto from our chat last week is that during the course, and I don't know how early it was in the actual race, you lost your petrol cap.
Yeah, that was on stage 2.
Like
it was
that's
early
going to
on.
help.
Yeah, I got to the refuel at the midpoint of the stage and realized I didn't have a fuel cap on the back tank anymore. So that's half of your fuel reserves completely gone. I wasn't sure how much sand had gotten into the tank, and I was a bit scared to use the rear tank. Otherwise, you might block the carb or the fuel filter or anything like that. So I put a bit of fuel into the back tank, and then I sealed it up with a piece of plastic and a cable tie, hoping that would be sufficient. And then about 60 or 70 k's from the end of the stage, I ran out of fuel on the front tanks, which is also 18 liters. Swung over to the rear tank because I had no other option, and got about 25 k's from the end of the stage, and I ran out of fuel.
As well. But at least you knew it worked.
Yeah, it worked. But then it was the mission of getting fuel from some locals. Fortunately, I bumped into some locals at that exact point where I ran out of fuel.
Amazing.
And spent about 20-30 minutes trying to get some fuel from them, and filled the bike up and got to the end of the stage.
Jeez, I mean, just those kind of experiences, one can imagine you've got this language barrier, it's boiling hot, and out of the nowhere, these locals come and you're going, I need fuel. And amazingly, they most probably don't own cars, don't own anything, yet they managed to find the stuff.
It's actually mind-blowing where you find spectators along the route.
Is that so?
They on the dunes, they in the middle of the dunes, they're on motorbikes, on quads, they absolutely everywhere. There's some of the areas where you feel like you're the only person on the planet.
Yeah.
And that becomes difficult at some points in time, but more often than not, you find people out on the route. Stage 5, which was a really, really tough stage, after the tough section where a lot of people fell out of the race, I got into a riverbed and ran along that riverbed, and I must have stopped 3 or 4 times with the locals getting water. They're so organized. They've got ice cold cooler boxes with water that is frozen. You literally down half a 2-liter Coke bottle and you pour the rest down the back of your back to just cool down.
So I mean, they are very proactive in the sense and helpful in knowing what you guys are going through and try and assist wherever they can.
Absolutely. The Argentinians mainly, Chileans are also quite hectic, but they are sport crazy. They're motorsport crazy as well, and they're just willing to do anything, even to get a photograph with you. The crowds are crazy. It's
fantastic.
It's awesome.
You mentioned something just now, and we did speak about it a little bit last week, where you've said, there are times where you feel as though you're the only person on the planet. And, the mental side of this game, and especially now doing it Malle, that kind of way, it must also test your complete belief systems within yourself, in whatever else you believe in, just to sit there and say, what am I doing here? I really don't feel like doing here, yet you just managed to go on.
Absolutely. The most trying times are, well, there was one, as I said, on stage 5, one point where I thought I absolutely cannot go anymore. It was too hot to stop. You feel like your head's going to explode. If you keep going, you're working, so you're getting hot. And I just told myself, if you stop, you're going to suffer. If you go, you're going to suffer. So you might as well keep going. The liaisons, the road sections, are really trying because you're limited to 110 k's an hour. You're really tired. They normally early in the mornings or late after your racing stage, and your body's buggered. You're tired. You've had not much sleep. And you land up finding yourself really bored and wanting to fall asleep along the road, and that's really tough, and you get a bit gutful of those sections.
I can imagine. I mean, we had tragedy again, unfortunately, in the Dakar. We lost one of the motorcyclists, but it is motorsport, as we know, and a lot of people forget about it, how dangerous motorsport is. And it just shows you, the people who are crazy enough to do this kind of thing, like yourself, always put yourselves at very high risk.
Absolutely, it's a high risk environment. But if I compare it to what we've got in South Africa, they've got state-of-the-art technology that's looking after the people. You've got an Eritrack system, which is a satellite telephone and a tracking system in one, which can communicate back to race headquarters in France. And they can almost guarantee to be with you within 30 minutes of a crash, at least. Probably even as soon as 15 minutes after a big crash, they will be with you. There's 10, 15 choppers following the race. There's hundreds of organization vehicles at all various points along the route. And I would say it's probably the safest race to go and do. If you look at the distance that you're covering, the number of people in the event, and if you had to do the statistics on it, it would probably be way safer than looking at any of our local racing.
Yeah, I'm glad you bring that up, because I think a lot of people also, forget about the amount of logistics that are involved, and the fact that every single person needs to be, they need to know where you are. You're driving through the middle of nowhere, and the only way you're going to pick up somebody is with a tracking device. So it's great to know that they have all of these safety measures in place as much as they can to benefit all of the competitors.
Well, there's extra things in that tracking device, which are inclinometers and accelerometers, which pick up immediate stop in motion. So if you have a crash or something like that, or if you fall over a certain degrees, the thing gives an automatic signal back to France, and they'll
pick it up.
Pick it up, yeah.
And from there, they sit and say, "We think there's an issue. Go and check this out."
Yeah.
The camaraderie. I mean, besides the locals trying to help out, we spoke that you stopped and helped out the one. I think it was Zambian guy
David
as well.
Reeve.
Yeah. Those are special moments.
Absolutely. You everyone's going through the same stuff together. So you're going through really testing and trying times. You're struggling and you're suffering together, and you share those moments with the guys. You share the excitement. You share the tough times together, and you form a special bond with a lot of the guys that you meet there.
Well, yeah, I mean, because every night as you say, you're all there. Do you sort of stick to your clans? I mean, if you're in the Malle Moto section, do you stick mainly with those people, or did you try and find some of the South Africans along the way?
You always meet and greet, and a lot of people in the bivouac.
Mm-hmm.
You spend a lot more time with the Malle Moto guys because you're in the same area together. Normally, when you're with the team, you guys sort of gather together and you say, right, let's go and have something to eat now, or let's go to riders briefing, or you try and do a few things together. But when you're in the Malle Moto camp, you're so cut for time that you have to work on your bike, go for a shower, go to riders briefing, eat. So you fit whatever you can into whenever you can.
Yeah.
So more often than not, you find yourself marking your road book alone, or you going to dinner alone, and that gets to you a bit sometimes.
Yeah, I can imagine. When you're going, and I mean, I'm sure you got lots of video footage. Barry Bateman, I think, sent me a link of some of the stuff on you as well.
Yeah.
I mean, you've just got back, so I mean, there's loads of stuff to go through and photographs and etc. etc. But I mean, these things they are, some people's bucket list is to go to the Victoria Falls.
Yeah.
Yours, you've done 2 Dakars. You know what I mean? This is not a skill and a bucket listing for 99% of the world's population.
Yeah, I tell you what, it's every motorcycle rider's dream to go to Dakar, and the simple fact that I've managed to get there is unbelievable, and it's been a huge thanks to many people behind me, sponsors and family and what have you. So.
Yeah. Now, one of your big sponsors, I think, was the mining house. It was a mining company.
Yeah, Strokeham Mining, mining supply company.
Okay. They must be chuffed.
They're really happy, and Trevor Frost from Strokeham Mining's been behind me for a long time. He's sponsored me on and off for many years, and when he came to me in the beginning of last year, after the first Dakar, and he said to me, "You keen to go back again?" And I said, "Absolutely." He says, "There's one catch: you have to do it on a KTM." And I said, "There's no question about that. Definitely taking him up on that option."
Which is great. I mean, I think it's amazing. I mean, you mentioned when we spoke, when you were still in Chile, that a couple of sponsors pulled out. Did they give you any reasons why they pull out, or were they just empty promises?
It's difficult to say. I think there's a lot of corporate tie-downs to the promises that they make. Some are financial constraints, and it's difficult for them and for us to give them what they expect. And Dakar is such a hit and miss kind of event.
Exactly. I mean, you honestly could last one day.
You could last one day. There was a guy last year that was showboating a bit leading up to the podium, not even having gone over the podium, and he flipped his bike and was out of the race. That is.
Yeah. It was just
the madness of the event. Yeah,
crazy. So I'm hoping that you're going to write about this and post up on your Facebook page all various pictures and videos and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, there's going to be quite a few bits and pieces going out. I'm going to try as much as possible. Barry Bateman's involved in it as well. He's writing a few articles and what have you for various magazines. So there'll be stuff in Bike SA, Enduro World, Dirt and Trail magazine. And a few others on the Wild Dogs forum.
Excellent.
So yeah, we'll try and get as much out as possible.
And what are your plans now that you're back? I mean, are you going to focus on doing South African enduros, that kind of stuff, or are you going to just sit there and say, hey, time out for a bit?
Last year I felt that way. This year I'm actually keen to get on my bike again, strangely enough. And I'll do a bit of the national circuit. I don't know to what extent I'm going to do it, but I'm going to do as much as possible. And you find if you get out of touch with it, you land up getting unfit, you get injured more often. It just keeps you on your toes for the whole year, and keeps the awareness up as well.
Fantastic. Well, listen, it's a great pleasure and privilege to have you here in the studio. Tomorrow we've got Leroy Poulter who's going to come in, so we'll get the four-wheel Oaks, the guys who get paid to do this stuff. We'll try and get a sponsorship there as well for you. But we really appreciate it. It was great to talk to you then. Great to have you in the studio. Please keep us, always tweet us and add the balls Twitter, so we can see everything that you're doing, and we'll try and help keep your name out there in the lights.
Will do. Thanks a million, Shane.
All right, there we go. Brilliant. So great to have him in the studio. Brett Cummings, of course, and you can follow him on Twitter at Rally with an E Rider, and then also check out his Facebook page as well. And I'm sure there's going to be some amazing pictures that are coming out and videos over the next couple of weeks and months.
Gearz. GearzOnBalls.co.za.
Weekdays 1 p.m. to 3 p.m.